everyone, and thank you for joining me on another hike through the lovely forest. Christmas is coming soon. The leaves are now down and the trees are bare. But that doesn't stop us. We're still headed out into the great outdoors for a wonderful hike. And you know, even though the leaves are gone, it's still beautiful out here. If you are new to the channel, my name is Mike, and what I do is point of view hiking videos where you see what I see in beautiful 4K. As we go along, I tell you a story. It could be a funny story, a scary story, or even a life lesson, like today's life lesson. Make sure you're wearing pants when you go into the woods, because if you're running around bare butt naked, it's not going to be comfortable. You know, sticks are going to be hitting you where they shouldn't be. So that's my advice for today. Wear pants when hiking. I would really love it if you would subscribe to the channel. It really helps, gets the channel seen by more people, because it tells YouTube, hey, people are interested in what I'm doing here, and therefore they'll show more people and the channel can grow. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, hit that notification bell as well if you would like to be notified when a new video is dropped. I post a new video every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, with Monday and Friday being the day I tell a story, but Wednesday, it's a sights and sound video, so you don't get a story. Instead, you just enjoy the sounds of the forest or the meadow or wherever I am without me interrupting, which is very pleasant, not having to listen to me ramble on for 20 minutes or so. Also, if you liked the video, hit that like button. You know, just give it a nice push. Push that like button to show that you like the video. It too helps the channel grow. Alright, with all that out of the way, it is Christmas time. My second favorite time of the year, next to Halloween. I listen to Christmas music the day after Thanksgiving, and then I stop on New Year's Eve, and then I don't want to hear it again at all. Not one piece of music from Christmas until the next year. Because it just seems that by the time you get towards Christmas, you start to get a little sick of it. Like hearing Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas done in about 10 different versions by her, and then 1,000 different versions by everybody who decided to remake it. As a matter of fact, yesterday I was doing a little bit of Christmas shopping, and I heard the worst version of it. It was some, like, rock band, I assume. I don't even know who they were. And the lead singer, a female, had this awful voice, like really bad voice. And she starts wailing on this song, and it was hideous. So hideous. It was like something out of maybe like an 8th grade band who just got together and thought, hey, let's do a rock version of Mariah Carey's song. I mean, seriously, my ears started to bleed. It was so bad. But yeah, once Christmas is over, I just don't really want to hear too much more Christmas music. It really starts to get on my nerves. But when the season begins, I love hearing it. You know, to me, it's not even the Christmas season until I hear the Christmas song by Nat King Cole. Once I hear that, I know it is the Christmas season. Alright, for today's video, I'm going to do something a little different, something I haven't done before. With this being the start of the holiday Christmas season, I thought it would be cool to play some audio clips that are related to Christmas. And today's theme will be Santa Claus. First, we're going to start off with an audio recording of Yes, Virginia, There Is a Santa by Frances Pharcellus Church, as read by Corey Samuel. So you'll listen to her, and then that'll be followed by A Night with Santa Claus by Fannie Coe, as read by Annie R. Anon. So sit back, enjoy the hike, and enjoy the festive stories.
Is there a Santa Claus? We take pleasure in answering at once, and thus prominently, the communication below, expressing at the same time our great gratification that its faithful author is numbered among the friends of the Sun. Dear Editor, I am 8 years old. Some of my little friends say there is no Santa Claus. Papa says, if you see it in the sun, it's so. Please tell me the truth. Is there a Santa Claus? Virginia O'Hanlon, 115 West 95th Street. Virginia, your little friends are wrong. They have been affected by the skepticism of a skeptical age. They do not believe except they see. They think that nothing can be which is not comprehensible by their little minds. All minds, Virginia, whether they be men's or children's, are little. In this great universe of ours, man is a mere insect, an ant in his intellect, as compared with the boundless world about him, as measured by the intelligence capable of grasping the whole of truth and knowledge. Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. He exists as certainly as love and generosity and devotion exist, and you know that they abound, and give to your life its highest beauty and joy. Alas, how dreary would be the world if there were no Santa Claus! It would be as dreary as if there were no Virginias. There would be no childlike faith then, no poetry, no romance to make tolerable this existence. We should have no enjoyment except in sense and sight. The eternal light with which childhood fills the world would be extinguished. Not believe in Santa Claus? You might as well not believe in fairies. You might get your papa to hire men to watch in all the chimneys on Christmas Eve to catch Santa Claus. But even if they did not see Santa Claus coming down, what would that prove? Nobody sees Santa Claus, but that is no sign that there is no Santa Claus. The most real things in the world are those that neither children nor men can see. Did you ever see fairies dancing in the lawn? Of course not, but that's no proof that they are not there. Nobody can conceive or imagine all the wonders there are unseen and unseeable in the world. You may tear apart the baby's rattle and see what makes the noise inside, but there is a veil covering the unseen world, which not the strongest man, nor even the united strength of all the strongest men that ever lived, could tear apart. Only faith, fancy, poetry, love, romance can push aside that curtain and view and picture the supernal beauty and glory beyond. Is it all real? Ah, Virginia, in all this world there is nothing else real and abiding. No Santa Claus. Thank God he lives, and he lives forever. 1,000 years from now, Virginia, nay, 10 times 10,000 years from now, he will continue to make glad the heart of childhood.
The Book of Stories for the Storyteller by Fanny Coe. A Night with Santa Claus by Annie R. Annan. Not very long ago, and not far from here, lived a little boy named Robbie Morgan. Now I must tell at once how Robbie looked, else how will you know him if you meet him in the street? Blue-eyed was Rob, and fair-haired, and pug-nosed. Just the sweetest trifle, his mother said. Well, the day before Christmas, Rob thought it would be a fine thing to run down the high street and see what was going on. After dinner, his mother put on his fur cap and bright scarf, and filled his pockets with biscuits. She told him to be very polite to Santa Claus if he should happen to meet him. Off he trotted, merry as a cricket, with now a skip and now a slide. At every corner he held his breath, half expecting to run into Santa himself. Nothing of the sort happened, however, and soon he found himself before the gay windows of a toy shop. There he saw a spring hobby horse, as large as a Shetland pony, all saddled and bridled too, lacking nothing but a rider. Rob pressed his nose against the glass and tried to imagine the feelings of a boy in that saddle. He might have stood there all day, had not a ragged little fellow pulled his coat. "Wouldn't you like that pop gun?" he piped. catch me looking at pop guns," said Rob shortly. But when he saw how tattered the boy's jacket was, he said more softly, "Perhaps you'd like a biscuit." "Only try me," said the shrill little voice. There was a queer lump in Rob's throat as he emptied one pocket of its biscuits and thrust them into the dirty, eager hands. Then he marched down the street without so much as glancing at that glorious steed again. Brighter and brighter grew the windows, more and more full of toys. At last our boy stood with open eyes and mouth before a great shop, lighted from top to bottom, for it was growing dark. Rob came near, taking off his cap and saying, "How do you do, sir?" "To whom, you ask?" "Why, to an image of Santa Claus, the size of life, holding a Christmas tree hung with wonderful fruit." Soon a happy thought struck Rob. Surely this must be Santa Claus's own store, where he comes to fill his basket with toys. What if I were to hide there and wait for him? As I said, he was a brave little chap, and he walked straight into the shop with the stream of big people. Everybody was busy. No one had time to look at our mite of a Rob. He tried in vain to find a quiet corner till he caught sight of some winding stairs that led up to the next story. He crept up, scarcely daring to breathe. What a fairyland! Toys everywhere! Oceans of toys! Nothing but toys! Well, excepting one happy little boy. Think of 50 great rocking horses in a pile, of whole flocks of woolly sheep and curly dogs with the real bark in them, stacks of drums, regiments of soldiers armed to the teeth, companies of firemen drawing their hose carts, no end of wheelbarrows and bicycles. Rob screwed his knuckles into his eyes as a gentle hint that they had better not play him any tricks, and then he stared with might and main. Suddenly Rob thought he heard a footstep on the stairs. Fearing to be caught, he hid behind a go-kart. No one came, however, and as he felt rather hungry, he took out the remaining biscuits and had a fine supper. Why didn't Santa Claus come? Rob was really getting sleepy. He stretched out his tired legs, and turning one of the woolly sheep on its side, pillowed his curly head upon it. It was so nice to lie there, looking up at the ceiling hung with toys, and with the faint hum of voices in his ears, the blue eyes grew more and more heavy. Rob was fast asleep. Midnight. The bells rang loud and clear, as if they had great news to tell the world. What noise is that besides the bells? And look, oh look, who is that striding up the room with a great basket on his back? He has stolen his coat from a polar bear, and his cap too, I declare. His boots are of red leather and reach to his knees. His coat and cap are trimmed with wreaths of holly, bright with scarlet berries. Good sir, let us see your face. Why, that is the best part of him. So round and so ruddy, such twinkling eyes, and such a merry look about those dimples. But see his long white beard. Can he be old? Oh, very, very old. Over 1900 years. Is that not a long life, little ones? But he has a young heart, this dear old man, and a kind one. Can you guess his name? Hurrah for Santa Claus! Right, the very one. He put his basket down near Robbie, and with his back turned to him, shook the snow from his fur coat. Some of the flakes fell on Rob's face and roused him from his sleep. Opening his eyes, he saw the white figure, but did not stir nor cry out, lest the vision should vanish. But bless his big heart, he had no idea of vanishing till his night's work was done. He took a large book from his pocket, opened at the first page, and looked at it very closely. Tommy Turner was written at the top, and just below was a little map. Yes, there was Tommy's heart, mapped out like a country. Part of the land was marked good, part of it bad. Here and there were little flags to point out places where battles had been fought during the year. Some of them were black and some white. Wherever a good feeling had won the fight, there was a white one. Tommy Turner, said Santa Claus aloud, 6 white flags, 3 black ones. That leaves only 3 presents for Tommy, but we must see what can be done for him. So he bustled among the toys, and soon had a ball, a horse, and a Noah's Ark tied up in a parcel, which he tossed into the basket. Name after name was read off, some of them belonging to Rob's playmates, and you may be sure that the little boy listened with his heart in his mouth. Robbie Morgan, said Santa Claus. In his excitement, that small lad nearly upset the cart, but Santa did not notice it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Rob's breath came very short. Whites. He almost clapped his hands. 1, 2, 3 blacks. And now I wonder what that little chap would like. Here's a drum, a box of tools, a knife, a menagerie. If he hadn't played truant from school that day, and then told a fib about it, I'd give him a rocking horse. Rob groaned in anguish of spirit. But bless him, he's a fine little fellow, and perhaps he will do better next year if I give him the horse. That was too much for our boy. With a hurrah, he jumped up and turned a somersault right at Santa Claus's feet. Good gracious, cried Santa, what's this? Come along, I'll show you the one, cried Rob. Santa Claus allowed himself to be led off to the pile of horses. You may believe that Rob's sharp eyes soon picked out the one with the longest tail and thickest mane. Well, he beats all the boys that I ever saw. What shall I do with this little spy? Oh dear, Santa Claus, cried Robbie, hugging the red boots. Do just take me along with you. I'll stick tight when you slide down the chimney. Yes, no doubt you will stick tight. In the chimney, my little man. I mean to your back, said Rob with a quiver in his voice. Santa Claus can't bear to see little folks in trouble, so he took the boy into his arms and asked him where he wanted to go. To Tommy Turner's, and oh, you know, that boy in the awful old jacket that likes pop guns, was the breathless reply. Of course he knew him, for he knows every boy and girl in Christendom. So a pop gun was added to the medley of toys. Santa Claus then strapped Rob and the basket on his back. He next crept through an open window to a ladder he had placed there, down which he ran as nimbly as a squirrel. The reindeer before the sledge were in a hurry to be off, and tinkled their silver bells right merrily. An instant more, and they were snugly tucked up in the white robes. An instant more, and they were flying like the wind over the snow. Ah, Tommy's home. Santa Claus sprang out, placed the light ladder against the house, and before Rob could wink, a good fair wink, they were on the roof making for the chimney. Whether it swallowed him or he swallowed it is still a puzzle to Robbie. Tommy lay sleeping in his little bed and dreaming of a Merry Christmas. His rosy mouth was puckered into something between a whistle and a smile. Rob longed to give him a friendly punch, but Santa Claus shook his head. They filled his stocking and hurried away, for empty little stockings the world over were waiting for that generous hand. On they sped again, never stopping until they came to a wretched little hovel. A black pipe instead of a chimney was sticking through the roof. Rob thought, now I guess he'll have to give it up. But no, he softly pushed the door open and stepped in. On a ragged cot lay the urchin to whom Robbie had given the biscuits. One of them, half eaten, was still clutched in his hand. Santa Claus gently opened the other little fist and put the pop gun into it. "Give him my drum," whispered Rob, and Santa Claus, without a word, placed it near the rumpled head. How swiftly they flew under the bright stars! How sweetly rang the bells! When Santa Claus reined up at Robbie's door, he found his little comrade fast asleep. He laid him tenderly in his crib and drew off a stocking which he filled with the smaller toys. The rocking horse he placed close to the crib, that Rob might mount him on Christmas morning. A kiss, and then he was gone. P.S. Rob's mother says it was all a dream, but he declares that it's true as true can be. I prefer to take his word for it.
And now, a shameless plug. That's right, it is time for another shameless plug. This is where I promote something of mine, and I have no shame about promoting it. I feel no guilt whatsoever. It's a shameless plug, and today I'm plugging Santa Claus. Okay, that did not sound right at all. I'm not plugging Santa Claus as if I'm plugging him. Not that I had a plug, but if I had a plug, it's not. No, not that. No, get that out of... No, you dirty... No. Actually, I am Santa Claus. Let me show you. Oh, ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! Well, hello there! It's me, Santa Claus! And for a limited time, I am recording personalized videos for you. It can be a message for a child, a friend, a co-worker, promotional videos for your business, announcements, or just a nice heartwarming message. The video comes in full 1080 high def, wonderful stereo sound, and a super fast turnaround. After all, I am Santa. Oh, ho, 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 ho. I also offer fantastic gig extras like text graphics, your logo, royalty-free background music, my Santa static interruption effect like this, and green screen if you want to add your own background later on. If you are looking for something more naughty, check out my Drunk Bad Santa gig, also available right here. So what are you waiting for? I'm taking orders right now, exclusively here on Fiverr.com. Merry Christmas! Oh, ho, ho,